told you when that'll get to you, when it does, basically. But yeah. And you are 2650, you said, but you're 2100 now, as I can see from your status. Good job. Let's see.
Right now, 2055.
2055. Okay. So you fell a bit.
Yeah.
Disappointing. You've been playing for a year, so you only have 600 hours. And honestly, that's pretty good for a year. Okay, now I actually have to time you out because you are spamming my chat. And that is, I'll see you in 20 minutes, buddy. Let's see. You play Scythe, Spear, you main Mirage, and you play Totori a bit. And you usually, thanks for the race card, you usually play Watch Sandstorm for Scythe and Crocky for Spear. Crocky plays Spear kind of weird. I wouldn't say you should watch Crocky to learn how to play Spear. Crocky's, you watch more to learn how to do specific things. I don't think he plays Spear in like the best way where it's like using what the weapon is good at. I think if you want to learn how to play Spear, you should watch like Ethan or any clips of me when I actually play Spear, because Crocky's just really unorthodox. I'm not saying he's bad, but he's just different. I don't think you're gonna be able to copy him really. Your mentality's fine. Something fell off my wall. Okay. Alright, and your so I don't know what you mean by you usually drop combos, because so looking at it, you play Spear and Scythe, right? There's no way you're dropping Spear combos often enough for you to like mention it. Like it's Downlight Sair, so I'm really worried if you're dropping Downlight Sair, but there's also Sarah and Light, right? Most of the Spear combos aren't that difficult, so you really shouldn't be dropping them. You should probably work on that on your own time. For Scythe, it's more understandable because a lot of it is strings and you have to carry people around. So being in the wrong spot can mess you up, but really don't drop Spear combos, and I'll leave you at that. I don't think there's anything I can show you that you already know, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think you.
Think about something.
Yeah, probably just look at what you sent. You play some Hattori, so if there's any need for me to show you the Hattori, I can show you that.
Yeah.
But I think we should be okay on this. Give me 1 second to put the thing that fell off my wall back on my wall. Alright, sorry about that. I'm back. Okay. First game, Great Hall, core. I will move my camera because it's crouching. There we go. That stock was very drawn out and strange, to say the least. Alright, so from start to finish, can't really complain about the stock. I'm not gonna say anything bad about it because for the most part, you're winning. There are times where you could probably do something more with what you have, and we'll look at that. Like right here, you shouldn't give that up. You should give that up immediately because that ground pound was terrible. But you shouldn't give up the edge guard on that, mainly because he wastes his dodge going back to the wall, and now you have an advantage to go off again. You'd rather wait, and that's fine. You just need to remember that times exist where it is worth going off. I don't really understand why I don't get more people that just edge guard, especially when you see something like this, right? So he just wasted his dodge getting to the wall. It's a 2-second dodge timer because it's off stage, and there's no reason, huh?
So I thought it was 3.
It's not. I don't think it's 3. It's like 120 frames. There's no reason to not go help him. If it was 3, I would never play this game again. I'm gonna be honest with you. Very hard to work with 3. But if he does that, right? You went for this when he had everything. Yeah. If he does this, now it's time for guard for that, right? Because most people will jump back off the wall. In red, that's an easy kill. A lot of people dodge to the wall, and then when they see you come off, they jump off immediately. So that is where you're in your best to actually go for that edge guard like that, right? That ground pound you wanted before, mainly because as soon as he jumps off, your ground pound will be out. There's nothing you can do about it. But either way, there's a bunch of stuff you can do, really. If you see that he's dodged like that, right? You go off diagonally, you go for that dare, you set yourself up for an edge guard. You're playing Scythe. There's no... If you're going to play Scythe, you might as well learn how to play off stage while you're climbing. And what I mean by that is you're playing in ranked, and your goal is to get better in ranked, and there's no reason... Of course, you'll lose elo, but what are you really losing for that kind of view, right? Like, I understand a lot of people get nervous or upset with losing elo, but at the end of the day, your goals are bigger than the number behind it, right? You want to go somewhere with this. It's only your first year. There's no reason to not take risks and opportunities for that. And the reason I'm spending so much time on this is because primarily for the rest of the stock, everything kind of went pretty well and expected. Catch a dodge like that, and you punish it pretty well. So I'm not really going to complain about stuff like that. Same thing here. I do side light, down light, but I don't really think it matters what you do. So side light, and light, both are fine. Because the down light you pull back and then you get the same stuff anyway. I just started doing side light, down light because I copied Sandstorm. Yeah, see, that's a bad edge guard, right? And obviously it's bad, I'm gonna flame you for that, but it's good that you went for it, right? Next time we understand that you can't actually hit something under you while they're above you. It just doesn't happen. So we go for a higher range move, we go for a Sair. A Sair is pretty good here, mainly because of where he came from, right? So no dodge there, the dodge is back right now. He dodges down. Now you Sair, and I don't have my Epic Pen open because my Windows doesn't work. So that's pretty sad. I literally can't open Epic Pen. But I would draw it for you if you... Let me see. Desktop. I don't even know where it would be. Okay, whatever. But yeah, you kind of create a wall here. As soon as you see him dodge down like this, you understand that he doesn't have a lot to work with, and trying to contest him with a ground pound like that is a good way to kill yourself. And what I mean by that is he just Sairs. Like, if he doesn't immediately panic jump out to the map, he can just Sair you out of your ground pound like that, considering that he's holding a side view from you, right? And that's how you end up dying in a situation where you're honestly at an advantage. It's fine that you get back up to the map instantly though, so that is good for you. Also nice, and then catch that. People just hate dodging, don't they? Yeah, it seems that you go for a pretty linear edge guard every single time, right? With the ground pound. I would recommend we don't do that anymore. It's not the strongest thing you have available to you. So right here, let's look at this. No dodge. Pretty sure he uses recovery as well. Let's see. Okay, so he's working with a recovery. There it is. Now he starts back to the map. If he's coming off that slow, you can honestly just wait it out and then go for this dare. Right, you see how you bounce him off that wall with that dare? It's just patience. Ground pounding on almost every weapon is the worst possible edge guard you could go for at any given moment. And I will say that about sword. If you're playing with sword, you don't want to just go off and ground pound. If you're playing with almost anything, I think ground pounding like that is the worst option you could possibly go for, rather than positioning yourself for a dare. But it's edge guarding is like a live and learn type thing, where you just kind of you make mistakes and you keep going. It's better that you go for it rather than not, though. So at least you're trying it. Nice. You dash backwards for some reason. Okay, so you have a pretty big lead for yourself, so you can kind of do whatever you want, and that's fine because he plays gauntlets and hammer, two weapons that kind of need to come towards you to do anything. So you can just kind of relax. Should stop rushing yourself so much, so you can actually get punishes like this. Right here, you just downlight and it'll work for you. Just give yourself that extra second to look at it. That follow-up's not actually ever good, I don't think. The downlight was slow, but it's fine. Okay, so for the most part, it was like fine, but there's a lot of missed damage, and missed damage kind of is just like a hit that you could have gotten or a follow-up that you could have gotten, right? Well, I'll just start it from here because this is the first one, right? You see how that's a downlight? If you don't sidelight so fast, you can actually just get the downlight and it's fine for you. It's not the end of the world though, so you set yourself up for stuff like this. This
awesome there.
Yeah, that's not that big of a deal. This sucks. Don't ever go for endlight, sidelight. Sidelight is way too slow to actually use for anything besides a punish, in which they can't really move from, or they're gonna dodge in that direction. In a situation like this, you can endlight him and then move forward and endlight him again, especially if he's gonna stay on the ground like this. So yeah, you endlight, you go for it twice. It's like 6 frames or less or something. Pretty sure it's lower. And it's just a dash, endlight, dash, endlight, and it's the best thing you can go for on the ground like that, especially on a smaller map. It's really good for you. It's not the end of the world. I don't think, I mean, there at the moment, I just realized gadgets are on. Okay, turn off gadgets, but it's not the end of the world like this. Mainly because I know downlight won't hit because he can jump, but you have recovery available to you. You have jump there. This is one of those situations where you can kind of tell downlight is too far, in all honesty, and you should be going for the higher up play. That's another punish right there, mainly because he goes for a sideline in the wrong direction, so you should really be trying to get that Sarah off, right? As soon as you see this, right?
Yeah.
You should be preparing to punish this move, and you dodge instead. And it's kind of a fear dodge because you should be dodging on reaction a lot of the time, and what I mean by that is you dodge because you see a move is about to hit you, and rarely for any other reason. So this move has no real chance of hitting you. It's in the other direction. He's facing the other direction. It's a slow move. You should be able to tell that. You don't need to dodge, you just punish it. But it's fine for the most part. The downlight was actually a good downlight. If it was a bit faster, I would have landed. I think it was a pretty good setup for yourself too. Like if you just waited a bit, let him actually land on the platform, you get a double downlight because you also caught his dodge with it. So it's a very good play, but could be played better. Again, right there, same scenario, dodged again, had to land, go for the downlight right there, right? For the most part, you're gonna see things like that a lot, where it's just like, catch the downlight. I mean, catch the dodge. It's a big part of Spear's gameplay. Okay. What's your first stock? Your first stock was pretty good. Nah, nothing too bad about it. You actually killed him pretty early and then got a lot of damage back from yourself before you lost it. So.
I hope I didn't miss a deal I swear.
You're fine. See, okay, so let's talk scythe things. So you take this dare after you get the weapon force recovery. So you take this dare, that dare was just bad, this one. And you send it backwards, right? So if you're gonna send it like that, you have to follow it, because then you just wasted the map, you wasted the dare, you wasted everything. So, and what I mean by that, if you're gonna send it backwards like that, you chase dodge and you stare him when you move with him, create that wall like I talked about before, right? You kind of have to, because at that, then you just did dare for no reason, and you made sure to turn it for no reason as well. You can send it forward, and he will bounce off the ground diagonally. I wish I had my pen so I could draw it. It goes, I think you can see my mouse. It goes that way, and you chase dodge that way, and you get the nair. Either way, you need to follow up on this move, no matter which way you send it, right? There's really no reason to send it and then do nothing, especially since he has no dodge. And then you go for our legendary ground pound that we've seen 4 times now and hit 0, so it's not really worth it. Messy. It's fine. Yeah, you just go for the stair there, or you ground pound. You don't need to GC downlight, right? It doesn't really add up. Platform maps are weird because it creates like false scenarios, right? Where it's like, oh, this platform is here, maybe he can play around it. It really never matters, mainly because, as you can see here, even if he was to play on, I wish I had my plan. Even if he was to play on this platform, like right here in this area, your punish is the same. It doesn't change your punish. You're going to Sair right here, and it will cover both, or you're going to ground pound, and it will do the same thing you want it to do, right? So this platform does create some kind of fake obstacle for you. The obstacle is not this big. You don't need to commit something like this to it, right? It doesn't really do much for you. Nice. So how do you decide whether you're going to send a nair forward or backwards?
I think depends on how much damage I have on him.
Okay, so why do you send him backwards here while also in the air, and then go for a dare forward?
I don't even know.
All right.
Because this is the replay that you wanted me to get a new one for.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was just playing around.
I can see that, but we're just gonna look at it anyway. So in this scenario, mainly because he's running out of jumps, in which you can tell, you kind of just push it forward because he's already in the air too high up to follow up the backwards play. So the forward into jump Sair into jump nair is way better for you. That was good. End light, of course, and then you already know that this should have just been nair, Sair, nair, obviously.
I like to practice that combo actually.
Legend. Should punish him for that. Okay. edge guard that. Nice. Slow, but at least it happened. Okay. Interesting. So, for the most part, the stock was fine. Again, there's all fine stocks, right? And there's times where you just look at it, the screen is shaking hella. You just like look at it, and it's like, okay, there was a punish here, I could have gone for, right? There was a hit here, I could have had. I misspaced this, I did this too late, right? So it's not that to the point where you need to look at it over and over again. It's not that big, right?
Yeah.
So like that could have been faster and it would have been better for you. It doesn't matter too much because you end up getting it anyway. So it's not the end of the world. There's times where a downlight could come out since it is the proper punish when you're spacing pretty hard that I've seen. And this is an experimental game, so you're probably just autopiloting just to play some games, so it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. Alright, let's see. These two are, well, this one is ranked and this one's a custom game. So I'll look at both.
That's one. That would be good.
Okay, let's start with that one then.
3, 2, 1, brawl!
Okay, I'll start from here. I basically hate jumps there. And the reason I hate jumps there is because it's such a big assumption and commitment at the same time. You not only do you use your jump, but you put out the Sair, right? And it is based on like one thing, whether they jump or not, right? And I understood it when people wouldn't punish it, but right now, if this guy just stayed on the ground, you would have Saired past him, and he would have just enlighted you, right? That's what I don't like about it. I feel like it costs too much for you to go for the reward, because the reward is usually just a Sair. And that's why when a lot of people, they'll enlight and then they'll jump Sair, and I'll just be like, okay, why would you do that when there's just a lot better options to do? So I just think it's worth me explaining that to you. The jump Sair is a very weird thing to go for. No, you put out a lot of moves. Okay, you did not do that because it's very bad on sword, honestly. So after this Sair, you recovery. That's fine. This Nair is not bad. It's fast, mainly because you don't actually, the spacing for it is wrong, which is why it's fast. You need to be higher up before you actually go for this Sair, so it's not gonna do much for you, right? So that sidelight is okay, and that GC downlight was bad, but whatever, it didn't cost you anything. But when you're going for sidelights like this, and then you go for another one, right? You can kind of tell yourself that you're putting out a lot of moves because now you just missed another dare, and the first thing you do after you miss that dare is go for another sidelight.
Yeah.
It's kind of a rush thing, and I think it's just weird to put out that many hitboxes, those many hitboxes. This all is fine, so Enlight hits him eventually, and he Sairs into you, so that's fine. Same thing I'm complaining about with sword, it's just like a raw jump Sair. He did it there, and he just caught him out of it. He could have killed you, but that's fine. Maybe you'll kill him. Downlight is good, the Enlight is fast. Mainly because he's too far to actually punish you. So doing the Enlight just makes it so he can punish you. He doesn't need to come out. Legend. should coach me. What the fuck?
I don't know about that.
Okay, maybe he should coach me. You guys are freaks. Yeah, that's the jumps there again. It sucks, as you can see, because if you don't jump, a normal person punishes you. Obviously, you're abnormal, but it's fine. Side light, side light. Never dodging, obviously. You haven't done it that much, so it's not big of a deal. This is a custom game with gadgets on. Do you have gadgets on in rank too?
Nope.
Okay, there's one. Recovery is better because he'll die. Okay, Jesus, this entire stock gave me a headache, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so there's a lot of trading here because neither of you actually know what to do when you land a hit, so the game just defaults back into you guys trying to hit each other. He happened to win more times this stock because punishes if that were missed. That was just bad from you dodging in, which you shouldn't do, but it's whatever. So pick up the sword here. Sig should have been a downline, but it's okay. Yeah, that's not gonna do anything for you. So this Ensig is already kind of sucky to me, mainly because he's gonna go too high, right? And you're better off after hitting that dare to move up with him and look for nairs or recovery. You're playing swords, so that's really your game plan anyway. You dare and then you try to juggle with your aerial moves. Going for Ensig is just like, oh, let me press a button. Doesn't really make sense. And then the Enlight is even worse because he is so high above you that it makes no sense how he could possibly get hit by it. So it's just now you're wasting your own time. He punishes you for it. And now you're kind of defaulting into landing into him a bunch, eating a weapon throw, stuff like that. So it's just things to look at. Same there. The Enlight again is very weird. The thing that's hard is you put out a lot of moves, and maybe out of like 10 moves you put out, maybe 2 or 3 of them are actually good and should be out. So that's a pretty big thing because in like this entire minute of gameplay, you've probably put out more moves than him, but have gone hit more, and that's always a bad thing. That needs to be looked at, right? Because there's nothing wrong with putting out moves that will land, but if you're putting out 10 moves and hitting 3 of them, that means you're wasting time where you could be doing something better. You're putting out moves that aren't going to hit, and that just leaves them time to get to you. That leaves you time to get punished. I think you should invest more thought into the moves you want to put out and actually look at where they are. How is that going to hit them? Does this move matter? Is it just an Enlight? Because a lot of the Enlights you're doing, you play against someone better and they just walk up to you and they hit you every single time because you're putting a bunch of moves out. That was a downlight recovery, obviously, to kill him, which is better, but it's not. It's whatever. Now you know how to do downlight recovery. That was slow. I tried to jump out of it. Yeah, too many Enlights. You just kind of you're trying to cover yourself from nothing. You should be less worried about getting hit. That way you can actually think about moving away from being hit, kind of thing. Yeah, you have a very, very, very big case of attack just to attack syndrome, and it's very bad. So a lot of your attacks come out just because you haven't attacked in like the last half a frame. So you know, just put one out. Like that end light has no actual reason to be out. It's just like, oh, he's in this direction and there's no move. Do one, because you put out this end light. You press this button, and you can tell when you press it because it starts up right here, and you probably were thinking about it right before it. So you press this button while you're standing where you're standing, and he's here, right? That is a while before. That's like a distance. So he gets into you and he punishes you for it. Now the problem is, this is what most of your end lights look like. If I go back a bit, and I think you did an end light here, while he's up here, right? It's just like, oh, move not out, I put move out. All right, it doesn't need to happen. They're all bad. That one costs you your stock. It's just rushing. It doesn't need. There's genuinely no reason to put this second end light out, because let's look at where you are. You're one hit from dying, right? You just missed a downlight. He has to land now. That's fine. He can't get hit by this. Don't put it out. He has to land still. You see that he has to land. If he has to land and he's coming from the air, why not go for another downlight a bit later rather than go for an end light while he's in the air, right? So it's almost like every single time you miss a move, you feel the need to put out another move. But as soon as you miss that move, you put out another move. So it's like an endless cycle of, and what it really looks like is the beginning of the game, where you open it with a Sair, and then a downlight, and then a side light, and then you get hit. Then you come back, you nair, you side light, you GC downlight backwards, you side light, you get punished, you dare, you side light. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's your breaks. The only time you get a break from your attacking is when they hit you, right?
Yeah.
You miss and you attack again. You miss and then you attack again, and eventually, hopefully, they will knock you out of one of your attacks and you will stop, right? And that's really, it's costing you a lot, because if we're gonna look at this stock, after this nair is fine, right? So instead of doing that nair and then going for this, I don't understand what this is supposed to be. This isn't even like the highest damage you can get. You go for that nair and you see, oh, he's out of jumps again. He's coming directly at me. He just dodged. Now he has nowhere to go. You don't even have to move anymore, because at this rate, he's going to, you just move back a bit. I don't have my pen, but you move back a bit to like about the snowman. That way he can't nair you. And then you just sidelight him, and he has no dodge, he has no jumps. You sidelight, you get your downlight, you get your Sair. It's that simple. You don't need to go for extreme shit like this, because it's not gonna hit. Now you get punished for it again. You walk in for the nair, you get punished for it again. You chase spots with him, you downlight, you get punished for it again. Now, what's next? Jump twice, dare, get punished for it. You don't get punished for that one, but you should have. This one is fine because it's an actual move that will hit him. It knocked him out of his move, right? This one, he's actually there to get hit by it. This one isn't as bad. Thanks for the Happy New Year, Pulse Crypto. This one isn't as bad as the rest of them. This one can actually land. He's there. A lot of them, you can see, like, this is not going to land. He's too high. So you don't need to go for it. You miss their downlight, you instantly go for a nair. It's not very smart. It's not very safe. And for watching Crocky play, he doesn't really do that. Crocky will miss a move and then he'll reset, because it's a lot safer. It's a lot smarter. Sair again. And if you really want to understand how bad it actually looks, I think this guy attacks less than you this entire stock, and you manage to hit him like half the time, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even assume that this guy is much better than you. He's probably just like a friend, same rank as you. But yeah, that was the main issue with this game. So a lot of the times when I see you have a good hit, you land a good hit, I can give it to you. Like, it's I like that you went for that. Like that earlier, you went for a nair, and I said this nair is a good nair. It just happens to be too fast. Like, that nair is a good nair. It happens to be too fast.
Yeah.
The thing is, everything else just looks really bad. Like that made no sense. It's strange to say the least, because of the entire thing. Like you sidelight, and then he's already traded places with you. It's kind of weird to go for it now. It's too late. It's like just kind of rushed, right? And if we're different players, this guy just kills you for this. Not kills you, but you're gonna end up in orange for doing that, because now you're in the air, no jumps, no dodge, just an air dodge. You're gonna be down for 163 frames or whatever, and he has gauntlets. That's really bad for you. It's not what you want. So you need to put out a lot less attacks and put out attacks that matter, that are smart. I'm not telling you to just run away and not hit people. I'm telling you to actually hit them when you attack. That way, and a lot of your attacks just don't matter. They don't need to happen. They suck. All right, let's look at it one more, and then we will look at someone else.
It's the middle one.
Yeah, I know. And then by someone else, I mean talent, which is me. I'm very good at everything.
I believe it.
Let's leave this. So your scythe was a bit better than your sword, but I think while watching the first replay, I could tell, even though that was experimental, it had the same kind of core problem. A dare. I don't think you should ever go for dares like this, mainly because it's not angled. So this dare is coming off of you getting hit in a dodge. So you didn't space it. You just stood where you were and you went for a dare, right? That's not very good. If you just kind of take your time to move towards him, right? Yeah, you actually hit it. So when you dodge, I don't like dodging to move. Which is usually why I'll tell people, yo, if you're approaching someone, you don't need to dodge. You don't need to jump and then dodge towards them, because what dodging does is it moves you a fixed distance over a fixed amount of frames, and then it leaves you there, right? So it makes no sense to use it to move, because you don't control how far you move at all with it. Does that make sense? You just like it moves you and then it's done. Well, whereas if you're jumping or you're moving your character yourself, you get to pick where you're going to end up and where you started it. That is way better for actual spacing. That's why a lot of people suck at spacing, because they like to dodge before they move, and then they end up like, oh, I dodged and now I'm not where I thought I would be. That's why you end up messing up, right? That doesn't make sense to do. Don't dodge before you attack. Just actually move to where you want to be and then attack. If they throw out a move to stop you, then you dodge that move, right? That makes a lot more sense. But this isn't a bad dodge. I'm not talking about this dodge. This is a dodge up. That way you don't get hit from his follow-up. That's fine. The thing is, don't just dodge and then put out an attack, because now you would have missed this regardless, and he didn't even have to dash. He could just done whatever he wanted, and you would have missed this. And then now you have no dodge, right? You just wasted, you just dared, so you're in recovery now, right? So now he sidelights you, and then he downlights you, and you can't do anything about it because you can't jump out of it, and you won't have a dodge for it, right? And now you're in an even worse spot than where you were before. Whereas you really can just hit him right here if you move a bit, okay?
Yeah.
Nice. Good job. Okay. This stock lasts for way too long. I'm not gonna assume why it lasted for so long. I just know that it is bad that it lasted that long. That was a downlight recovery, but I still dropped the Sarah anyway, so. That was a down sig. Okay, so there are times to put your sigs into your kit, mainly when your sigs are broken and mirages. So after that miss, he's in recovery right here. Let's talk about something, okay? And this will also help, because your main problem as of right now is just putting out attacks that don't matter or are bad, okay? So let us look at this right here. So he just missed this, and you see that you have a punish and you go for it, right? That's the punish, okay? That punish sucks. That punish sucks because it's not true into downlight, so, and you don't need damage anymore, right? So why would you do a combo starter for your punish, right? If you just don't do this, you see when this starts up, he's still in recovery and he finally turns, right? This is his turn, and he's just gonna get hit now. It's fine. Just move towards him and down sig, because you do not need any more damage. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean when I say you have to actually, even though the game is happening faster than you actually think, well that, like, we're not gonna pretend that this game is moving slowly or that nothing is happening, right? But in reality, it is moving at a speed where you need to consider this stuff. You do not need to sidelight here, because sidelight, the reward for sidelight is not something you care about, because he is one hit from dead from any move. So there is no reason to use the combo starter move to hit him for this, right? And that's obvious. I don't need to spend more time on that, but just move up behind him and down sig and he'll die, right? Easy enough.
Yeah.
Because now he's still alive and he could have been dead. Again there, you have time to position to Sair him or to ground pound him. We don't need to go for this move, because this move will not kill him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sair again. And it's fine, because from there to there, he did not manage to hit you a single time. Well, he hit you once, so you didn't lose anything, right? But let's say he actually did hit you, and then now it's like, oh, I wish I actually killed him. The space, but it's fine. Good. Okay, so yeah, I think for the most part, it's a hard thing to look at, because it's like, okay, if I do this, everything would have changed, right? And what I mean by that is, let's say you take what I'm saying here and you put it into your play. You stop attacking super hard. Super often. You focus more on attacks that are actually good for you, right? So like here, after you turn, this sidelight is whatever. It's not the end of the world. It's just badly spaced because you went too far. I would recommend you don't always dash, especially backwards. It's hard because then you have to turn. See right here, you dash and then you turn and you sidelight immediately. You need to actually dash back now. So I'll show you replays after this, and you're gonna actually see how little top players dash, because dashing is like dodging, where it moves you a bit further. It's easier to control than your dodge, and you can cancel your dash, but you should not really focus too much on that. So like this, you don't need to dash. You just move backwards, and then you move. You dash to punish him, honestly, if anything. But yeah, so let's look at this now, right? This hits you, and that's not the end of the world. He wastes his dodge right there. You recovery, and that's fine. So it's... Wait, I'm looking for something. It's this one. Yeah, right here. So this Endlight, he's too high for it to hit, right? And that's where I'm going. If you stop attacking and think about attacking, then you'll go, this Endlight won't hit here, he's too high. And you will understand that you actually have to go around. He can jump while you jump, but that doesn't matter, because I don't have my pen, but you're working at a range here, a range he can't deal with. So if you follow my mouse here, and so this Endlight never comes out, he's in recovery, this is your Endlight starting up, it doesn't happen. You jump this way, and you nair in this direction. Now you caught him with that nair, he has no dodge, you nair, Sair, nair, right? It's just like, it's just a thought, right? You don't need to Endlight there, because you can't hit that Endlight. This is just broken.
I also did stop using Artemis too, because I don't like range.
To the downlight for obvious reasons. When you go for a read, do you just like, do you guess, or is it like based on anything? Because I don't think he's dodged down once. Yeah, you shouldn't guess, because he's done the same dodge like 3 times, so there's no reason to guess. See, dodges back into you every single time. Dodges back into you again. That's the 3rd time in a row now, and that's without me going back to show you the other times. He's done. You got it that time. Talent. But yeah, even here, even like off something like this, he's moving back towards you. I think you hit him with something here and he dodges back towards you again. People tend to just like, people that I coach do it too, they just dodge back towards people or they move back towards people after they get hit. And it doesn't make sense considering you don't have a dodge recovery. Recovery would have killed him. Nice. And you're a clean stocks and you kill him without dying, so let's go. We use space. Your sidelights are thrown out well, but they're almost every single one of them is misspaced. And if you space these correctly, it'd be a lot better, like 10 times better. And you don't use a lot of SIGs, and that's fine. But Mirage actually has a kit that flows well with her SIGs, and you can actually find places to put them into. So I would work on that as well. Sunlight is good. Good punish. This is too slow to actually work, and also he's too deep into you. This is hard to look at because it only doesn't work because of how deep the sidelight hits him in, right? You're basically stacked with his hits, so this dare's not going to work. And obviously, you probably just couldn't tell that when you hit it, and that's fine. I probably wouldn't either, so not the end of the world. Wow. Every time I see one of these, my head just hurts a bit. That should have just been a side light. And light there. Because there's no reason to jump, you're there, so just hit him. It's not bad. No reason to send him back if you're not gonna go back with him. So you send him forward and you bounce him off the ground to the air, as we talked about before. You should really think before you pick a direction where people are gonna go. I think that's one of the reasons I don't like whenever someone asks me if Scythe is a good weapon to play for them. I always say no. You can play Scythe because you're deep into it and the stuff I'm telling you can hit most of the moves anyway. But a lot of people, they play Scythe and then they just kind of hold every button in every direction and they don't actually care that they have active input. And I think people were discussing and they're like, yeah, Scythe will never be bad because it has active input as a feature. One, that's not true, but it's true and not true. The ability to pick where your opponent's going to end up and what you do off that is always going to be completely broken, absurd. I don't understand how this is in the game, but so they make it balanced by making sure Scythe sucks, and that's fine. But you need to use what it does have to your advantage because now you just hit this guy with your one move, and you picked him to go back, and that's cool because now he's in a deficit in edgeguard situation, right? So why don't you edgeguard him? Why did you put the strength of the kit into sending him off stage and then not use that to your advantage, right? It doesn't really make sense. It's just a thing to discuss and talk about. Like there, you picked him to go this way, and then you actually followed it up. That is the point. That is why Scythe is strong. Otherwise, it's just a worse sword if you're just gonna hit them once, right? And talent diff precedes all, and you do that. So. I'm a fan. Okay, so for the most part, we already talked about how your biggest problem is going to be your attacks and their patterns, and what I mean by that is a lot is literally just on the fact that you don't attack at the correct time and pick the correct attacks, and that's it really. Your spacing for some of them are off, but you get better at that naturally. I'm not just gonna like oh you space badly and you can't fix that because it's whatever. The more you play, the more you'll realize it. Now you'll stop doing stuff like this because you see how if I dodge like that, I can actually get towards him in the way I want to. Yeah, see, dodging like that sucks because then you go down and you can't actually move it. Whereas if I stay up here and I can actually aim him towards him, it's better. But yeah, that's it. Obviously, doesn't need to be said that there's a bunch of stuff that needs to be done like this. There's no reason to play Scythe and not do this because it's absolutely bonkers. Same with this, as I was talking about before, right? When you hit a dare like this, and you send him that way, there's a reason you send him that way, just like there's a reason you'll send him forward, right? If we're sending him this way, then we want that. That's what we're going to get out of that. There's no reason to not do that. You can chase dodge if you want it to go straight, and if you don't want it to go straight, you just kind of tap it, and then it'll go diagonally out, right?
Yeah.
That's obvious. That's just basic Scythe stuff. There's nothing else to do that way unless you want to send him back and nair him like that, but it's pointless to send him back because we send him off stage for a reason. And if you want him to go this way, oops, if you want him to go this way, he goes that way, and we get that. There's always a follow-up. There's no reason to hit him once and then do nothing, right? Even if you hit it deep, or if you hit it and you're still in the air, there's always a follow-up. So take all of them, but think about why you're sending him this way, right? I don't care much for offstage unless I'm like for funning it, so I don't send back. You send back a lot, but you end up not going offstage. Doesn't make sense. I usually do stuff like that. I send forward, and then I play forward. That's just me. I do my thing, you do your thing, that's fine. That's the beauty of Scythe. You pick where you want them to go, and then you take them there. It doesn't matter, okay? But to send them off stage and then to not go off stage with them is kind of trolling. Even if you want to do stuff like that, like I'll just set it to dodge. I just set it to dodge left, and then I'll do this. Then it'll die, right? It's simple. The reads aren't that difficult, they're not that surprising, they're not that weird. I think everyone kind of has an idea of how Scythe works at this point, and it's just about deciding to work with it. Ooh, I suck. Unlucky. Man, this weapon's too hard. But yeah, as for spear, your spear is fine. It's not like bad or anything. Like I've coached people that have bad spears. I don't understand how you have a bad spear. This weapon's so easy. Use more nairs, obviously. Space them correctly though. Nair is one of those ones that you just have to know how to use on the kit, right? It's just broken, so use it. And stuff. Obviously, you know how to double down late. You weren't really missing anything, and there was nothing like glaringly bad about it. I will say that, let's look at him in the middle of the map here. I will turn off reset and everything. Alright, this is about center of the map, right? And I will turn on position damage, and I will do this. And it kills that 140 because I stack up a bunch of damage beforehand, right? And this will also kill that 140, so it doesn't matter, okay? But there are times where it's not that straightforward because that will kill at 120, but this won't kill at 120. So it's definitely worth the time and effort to learn how to do this. And this is just with me. This is relevant because I'm also doing a side light behind before it, right? So this side light is adding up damage. So let's say you don't do the side light, right? And I'll send him to jump here. And he won't do a side light now. So now there's no side light coming out, and side light, down light Sarah only kills at what, 150 in this direction, right? So I'm not killing the spot till I tool this, and then think that kills? No, it doesn't. I lied to you, see? It's 160. That will finally kill, okay? Now I'll put this to 140, and he dies. So you're saving an extra like hit and a half. And when you're playing in a tournament, that's a lot. That's very relevant. A hit and a half is very relevant, right? So there's no reason to not learn to do this, especially now that we're seeing that, okay, I'm saving 20 damage, but let's say you're also good at spear. So now you're using spear for what its kit is actually useful for, doing that. Now you just saved 3 hits plus, right? Because you caught a dodge and then you did this, and then they died off the top at 130. That's I don't know, I don't think that's that fair, right? I think it might even kill earlier. 120, right? That's 5 hits, right? I don't think it kills at 110. Oh, it does. I can keep going, right? It's like, if you're literally, if you're playing the weapon correctly, you will quite literally save yourself. I even did it, I know this is the smallest map, and obviously you think before you do this, because if he's here, right, it's a different story. If he's not in the middle, and he's here, and I catch it, then he's dying no matter what I do. Not no matter what I do. If I do Sarah, he's dying. So I should just do Sarah, right? That's not even like a debate. It's not weird to think about. That's normal. So it's just about where you are on the map and thinking about it. Because if I'm here, then I need to do this. It doesn't make sense to not do this. At 110, I'm killing 50 damage earlier. Like what? It doesn't make sense to not. It's just learn the combo. There's no reason not to. It works on controller because Ethan does it on controller, and Ethan is Ethan. So what else? But yeah, primarily, none of that was your main problem. Your main problem is just that you like to do a lot of these for no reason while the game's happening around you. If you think more about each move you throw out, even if that means you have to play a bit slower to do it, you will be a lot better than you are, because other than that, you aren't that bad. You aren't really, and you're not gonna go, I don't think you're gonna go down in terms of how good you are, because you have a good basis to stand on, and that's really good for 600 hours. At 600 hours, I was probably worse than you are now. So, and you also play Scythe, and Scythe is pretty hard. So I'm not gonna complain too much about any of that. I think for the time put in, you are not terrible at all. I think we talked about it. Actually go off stage instead of doing this over and over again, because then you can do stuff like when you bounce them off the wall, and then you catch it with the Scythe again, and it's a true combo, and then they die off the bottom. It's crazy. So yeah. Stuff like that will always be good for you, and let us look at someone that isn't me play the game. I'll just look at Mirage because why not? No reason not to. Alright, so for whatever reason, maybe you wanted to lose.
Their ability
Ethan
to
walked in
take you
Mirage
off stage and
against,
just keep you off stage. Let you.
Phazon. And this is a tournament, obviously. This map is bad now, but it doesn't matter for my purposes. Pretty sure he loses this. Yeah. So, no one's gonna do it better than Ethan, right? When it comes to actually landing spirit hits and taking the most you're gonna get out of them. He's just the best person for that job. But it just shows how you're supposed to be playing this, right? You see how he goes for that downlight, and then he goes for the dare mainly because Phazon's gonna stay on the ground, right? That's just how you play it out. The dare hitting or missing doesn't matter because Phazon can't jump to punish him being in the air. Those are the only moves you ever put out more than once instantly. Moves where it is not relevant whether it's out or not, because nothing can be done out of it, right? And what I mean by that is he misses the downlight, he jump dares. Okay, Phazon's on the ground. How does Phazon jump to punish that downlight? He jumps, but by the time he jumps, a dare is in the way. Those moves are fine. You can spam moves like that because they line up for each other. They set up for each other. He gets this Sair, and instead of doing anything after the Sair, he goes for the read. He gets the read. It's a double downlight. It's that. That's it. There's no other moves coming out. He's not forcing any other moves. He's not going to attack just to attack. And every time he does attack, it actually is a very good punish. That's a bad attack. But you see how... let's see, how many attacks has he thrown out really? Like, that's 7, right? He threw out like 7 or 8 attacks. One of them was unpunishable, and the other one was bad, and the other 5 landed, right? So you can see where I'm looking at that. 7 attacks in 30 seconds, but the other guy's in red and he's not. Obviously, you don't need to always play slow because I play ranked and I just like run at people because it's a ranked game and I'm going to win regardless because it's a ranked game and they're terrible because it's a ranked game. But in tournament, even I have to slow down. You're always going to slow down on equal ground with people. But that's the thing. When you slow down and you realize, oh, this is what's happening, you look at the game slower and you try to take information in better, right? It gets to that point where information just starts clicking, and when you go back to lower elo, like when I smurf, obviously I don't smurf, but when I do smurf, I can quite literally walk at people and run at people and throw whatever move I want out because I know what to do and I know what's going to happen at a base level. But the higher I get, the slower the game has to be played, so I can actually think about my moves and think about my opponent's moves, right? And you can kind of see it here. Same thing is happening with Ethan. He's not putting out too many moves, and he will only put out moves that matter. I don't know why he locked in Mirage just to play Spirit the entire time, but I believe in him. Don't spam 6 though. Nice. Oh, that just made me not want to watch the rest of that. Absolutely bonkers gameplay from those two. But yeah, I think you get the general idea of where I'm heading with this. If I wanted to make it specific for you and tell you what you need to take away from this, I will say that your takeaways are making sure your punishes matter, and you should look into that. And what I mean by that is, don't punish someone in red with a side light, punish them with a sig. That way they die, right? That's just some basic stuff, that's fine. Think more about the moves that you're putting out. That way they actually land because they're relevant, right? It doesn't need to be really spelled out for you. Other than that, you're not doing anything that bad. I already told you to, when you hit someone with a scythe, you need to think more about why you're sending them, how much damage each one does, obviously, because soft sidelight on scythe does less damage than the hard sidelight. And I almost have never ever done a soft sidelight on scythe in a long time, mainly because the hard sidelight goes into downlight, right? And then when it gets too far for it to be followed up on, you still don't want to do soft sidelight because hard sidelight gives you much more stage control, and that's why I do what I do. But if I asked you, like, oh, why do you switch between a hard and a soft sidelight here, I would expect it just as a detailed answer. That's my point. When you do something, pick a good reason to do it. Don't just do it because you could. And that's the most important thing to take away here, because a lot of the moves you put out just look like moves to put out. They don't look like there's a reason behind it, and there's a reason behind basically every single move I would like to put out. And I will actually get one more replay, mainly because I want to look at one more replay.
Alright.
Not of you and not of tournament, and it's also not going to be the character you play even, so. But it will get the general idea of running away from people in the brain. And do I embarrass Walshy or do I embarrass Dangles? I don't know why everyone plays Val. I can't complain because I also play Val, but still.
Walshy.
Alright.
3, 2, 1, brawl!
Yeah, see, I will never put out a move that I will get punished for unless it was like I'm too close to them. Like, obviously, every move is somewhat punishable, but this Nair comes out for not no reason, but it doesn't affect the gameplay because nothing will happen if I do it. He can't hit me. He has unarmed, he's not in range, and then from that Nair, I move towards him and I hit him anyway, right? Same thing with that Nair. And you're gonna see that a lot of moves that I do are mainly just because I either see that they're going to land, or I know I'm not gonna get punished for them. That one just was bad. See, every once in a while you do have a bad move. That sidelight was bad. And then I made a bad dodge. It's fine though, because after a certain point you realize that Washi doesn't actually play Brawlhalla, he plays something we like to call Edge of Map Simulator, and then you just stop moving, and then he decides to finally come back to the center of the map. I'm not kidding, by the way. You're going to realize that he decided to like play at the edge the entire time, and it got really weird. Did that because I'm for fun.
Versus rank 2?
Yeah, this is right. That edgeguard thing is something I wish more people did. That Sair was probably never gonna hit, but I don't really care about that because the goal was to punish his Sair with that Sair, right? I thought he'd be still in recovery frames. I've done it in tournament and I've done it in like ranked and stuff. I've done it a lot where people will unarm dare or they'll do like a move that they have to do to get back to stage, like cannon Sair, right? And you just contest them and you knock them out of it because they'll be in recovery. I was too late and it's fine. He's not gonna edgeguard me because he is so scared of me. Rightly so. This is when I realized that there was no saving him and he was going to play at the edge of the map, so I decided to stand still. I suck. But yeah, you kind of see a lot of mistakes coming out, and it's mistakes like that can be punished, right? But I don't really punish that. He goes for that dare, and then the end light. I could have punished that end light mainly because it didn't need to come out. All a move like that does is keep you there so that you can be punished, because I can't punish that dare. So why do the end light in the first place? He was going for a GC there. That end light again made no sense. It doesn't need to come out. Why did he do this? It doesn't add up. So I punish him for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like the general idea. Obviously he does it way less than you, but you do it a lot. So it'd be like if you played against someone way better than you, obviously like those people aren't way better than you, so it doesn't matter. If someone was way better than you, you'd be getting hit a lot. And you wouldn't be landing any of those moves because they'd be coming out too fast for you to actually space them around someone who's like moving correctly. This game really does drag out, huh?
Alright, up there to the map.
Oops, I suck. Hey. But I think you get the general gist of everything. I will end the recording there.